Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Thanks for joining me as I take you through some clips of June. It wasn't particularly exciting, but we did go to a concert for Dead & Co. down in Boulder, Colorado. And the next morning, returned straight back to camp to get back to work. I filmed myself making just a quick little spam and egg sandwich on some English muffin. Kind of an odd combination, but it works pretty well after a long night of fun. While I dug into some breakfast, Vinny dug into something else. Your face is covered. And we found some exciting things popping up around camp. But later on in the week, when we had some downtime, we decided to explore the region around us. This is for Bel Air Lake Campground. This is also in the same national forest that Paul and I work out of. And this campground is actually only about 2 or 3 miles away from us. And in this footage, you're actually going to see that it's been heavily damaged by a massive forest fire this region experienced just a couple of years ago. The fire line on this was over 30 miles wide, expanded that far. I don't know the total of acreage that it burned, but it's pretty substantial, as you'll see in some of these next coming shots of the campground. I took some footage of us driving around the campground so you can kind of see the layouts, but also see some of the damage that was done by this forest fire. We were told by some of the local folks here who worked on the firefighting team that this was the fire line for the fire department. They stayed here. And you can see in the distance just how close that fire was to them and how they were actually able to save this campground and park. So I can't even imagine how scary that must have been to be that close to that fire as it was coming towards them. But they ended up saving the village of Red Feather from being burned, as well as further on down. Even with all of the massive natural destruction in the area, there was some beauty popping up as some of the wildflowers began to come into bloom in the area. But it was still bittersweet to see this next to the charred skeletons of what was gorgeous tall ponderosa pines. We decided to head further up the winding dirt road, kind of questioning our sanity at this point because our two-wheel drive van and not knowing what was up ahead. But nevertheless, we trudged onward. Eventually we made it onto a little bit more firmly packed road, but it just continued to pour for the rest of the afternoon. So we would have to leave exploring for another time. However, upon our arrival back to camp, we were greeted with the most gorgeous sunset. It gave everything such a beautiful pink view outside. Speaking of beautiful hues, a few campers left behind some packets of magic fire, so Paul and I indulged that evening with a nice campfire full of bright, vivid colors. Later on, we got an itching to see some new destinations, so we decided to take a trip further up north from us to the city of Laramie, Wyoming. The other closest city to us is Fort Collins, which is about a 40-minute drive, and Laramie ended up being about just under an hour's drive. But the views were just as spectacular, and as you'll see, they change from corner to corner. The buttes and mesas soon turned back to the craggy rocks dotted with the pines. And then the landscape vastly changed to the wide open plains once more. Eventually, we finally arrived into the city of Laramie, where we decided to do some boring errands such as laundry. This place was actually quite quaint and interesting, but most importantly, it was very efficient and extremely clean, so we give this place 2 thumbs up. Afterwards, we decided to kind of drive around town and see what Laramie had to offer in the old part. Not going to lie, I felt like I was transported back to once of the tinier cities in Ohio. So maybe more like Ohio, but minus all of the cowboy bars and rodeo decals and icons everywhere. We also stopped over at Walmart to grab groceries and some dry goods and things that we would need for the week. And Vinny got to spend some time at the local dog park where he made a whole bunch of new friends. But that concluded our trip up to Laramie. Overall, it was a nice little city where we can run errands, get a change of scenery, and just kind of explore what else is around the bend. Thanks for watching our update this week, my friends. Take care.